The announcement came without warning, without build-up, without the typical months of speculation and preparation that usually precede major career decisions in professional sports. One moment the golf world was discussing Charlie Woods' next junior tournament appearance, analyzing his development pathway, debating whether he might play college golf or turn professional early. The next moment, Charlie's representatives released a statement that sent shockwaves through every corner of the sport and left analysts scrambling to understand what had just happened. Charlie Woods, at just 17 years old, was turning professional. Not after college. Not after accumulating more junior victories and building his credentials further. Not even after a gradual transition period that would have given him time to adjust to new circumstances. Charlie was walking away from junior golf entirely and stepping directly into professional competition. A decision so unexpected, so bold, so utterly contradictory to conventional wisdom about athlete development that even Tiger Woods appeared shocked when he found out the full details. The timing was shocking enough, but what came next was genuinely stunning. Charlie's first professional tournament would be at a level that most professionals work years to reach, a reality that suggested either extraordinary confidence bordering on arrogance or access to information and support that went far beyond what typical young professionals receive. The decision created a firestorm of debate. Golf purists argued that Charlie was abandoning the developmental pathway that had been so crucial for Tiger's success. Youth development experts questioned whether Charlie was making the right choice for his long-term career. Equipment manufacturers scrambled to adjust their plans. College coaches who had been actively recruiting Charlie suddenly found their efforts completely irrelevant. But then came the moment that changed everything. The announcement that followed Charlie's professional declaration and explained why he'd made this shocking decision. What he planned to do next. And how he was positioning himself not just as a future competitor, but as a force ready to challenge the established order immediately. What happened next wasn't just shocking. It was unprecedented, transformative, and suggested that Charlie Woods had been thinking about his career trajectory in ways that nobody outside his inner circle had anticipated. This moment would define Charlie's legacy and fundamentally change how the golf world approaches the question of when young athletes are ready for elite professional competition. If you want to know the real reason behind Charlie's shocking decision and the absolutely mind-blowing announcement that followed, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because what we're about to reveal will change how you see Charlie Woods forever. The context that led to Charlie's decision to turn professional started developing quietly in the months. On the surface, everything appeared to be proceeding according to the expected narrative. Charlie was competing in junior tournaments, accumulating victories, building his national rankings, and seemingly following the path that had been laid out by his success at the Fall Classic. Earlier in 2025, college coaches from elite programs including Stanford, his father's alma mater, had been actively recruiting him, offering scholarships and making compelling cases for why college golf would be the perfect next step in his development. But behind the scenes, Charlie, Tiger, and their inner circle had been engaged in extensive conversations about what would actually be best for Charlie's career. These weren't casual discussions about future plans. They were deep, strategic conversations about Charlie's long-term goals, his ambitions in professional golf, and whether the traditional developmental pathway that Tiger himself had followed was still the optimal route in the modern era of junior golf and professional athletics. One of the crucial factors in these conversations was Tiger's own evolution as a thinker about sports and career development. Tiger had experienced both the advantages and disadvantages of turning professional early. His decision to leave Stanford and pursue the professional tours at 20 years old had accelerated his career trajectory and allowed him to capitalize on his talent at exactly the right moment. But it had also meant sacrificing educational opportunities and the developmental benefits that a college environment might have provided. Tiger had often reflected on whether taking the college route might have given him additional preparation or simply delayed his inevitable dominance. As he watched Charlie develop, Tiger wanted his son to carefully consider these trade-offs before making his own decision. Charlie's analysis of the situation led to some surprising conclusions. Yes, college golf would provide valuable competition and developmental experiences. But Charlie also recognized that he'd already been competing against elite talent throughout his junior career, that he'd demonstrated his ability to perform under pressure, and that continued junior competition might not provide the level of challenge necessary to accelerate his development at the pace he felt he was capable of achieving. The other consideration was professional opportunity. The professional golf landscape in late 2025 was different from what Tiger had faced at his career's beginning. Tour cards were obtainable through multiple pathways. Development leagues provided alternative routes to professional golf. Sponsorship opportunities were available at levels that might not have existed at Tiger's career beginning. Charlie recognized that waiting for college to finish before pursuing professional golf meant potentially missing windows of opportunity that might close if circumstances changed. But the most surprising element of Charlie's decision-making process was something much more personal. Charlie wanted to compete against his father as a pure professional, not just as his son in amateur tournaments. This wasn't about rivalry or trying to prove something to Tiger. It was about wanting to understand his capabilities relative to his father by testing himself against Tiger in the professional context where Tiger had achieved his greatest success. The announcement of Charlie's professional status came on a Tuesday in late November, delivered through a press release that was remarkably brief and understated for something so significant. The statement confirmed that Charlie would be pursuing his PGA Tour opportunities and that his first professional tournament would be determined through existing professional pathways available to rising players. The statement included a brief quote from Charlie expressing gratitude for the junior golf experiences he'd accumulated and his excitement about the next chapter of his career. Tiger released his own statement that was equally measured but revealed his support for Charlie's decision. He discussed how proud he was of Charlie's development, how Charlie had demonstrated the mental and physical capabilities necessary for professional competition, and how he looked forward to competing alongside his son as peer professionals rather than as family members in amateur events. But what came next was the shocking part that left the entire golf world speechless. Charlie's first professional tournament wasn't some low-level developmental event or a minor league competition. Charlie had accepted a sponsor's exemption to compete in a mid-tier PGA Tour event, a reality that meant a 17-year-old amateur-turned-professional would be competing against established touring professionals and official tour-sanctioned competition. The audacity of this decision stunned everyone. You simply don't give sponsors exemptions to teenagers with zero professional experience to compete in legitimate PGA Tour events. The professional golf hierarchy exists for a reason. Players work through qualifying schools, development tours, and multiple stages of progression before earning their tour cards and competing in official tour events, giving a 17-year-old complete neophyte a direct pathway into that level of competition violated every convention about how professional golf operates. But the sponsor backing Charlie's exemption wasn't some random corporation looking for publicity. It was a major equipment manufacturer with significant involvement in professional golf, a company that had been quietly building a relationship with Charlie and his family for months before the public announcement. The manufacturer had apparently been considering this move for a considerable time, had conducted extensive analysis of Charlie's capabilities, and had determined that Charlie represented a unique opportunity to revolutionize how professional golf identifies and develops emerging talent. In a subsequent press conference, the equipment manufacturer's executives revealed that they had been monitoring Charlie's development across multiple junior tournaments and had come to the conclusion that his talent exceeded what even his impressive junior victory margins suggested. They believed that continued junior competition would actually slow his development. It's because he'd become so dominant against age peers that he wasn't being challenged at the level necessary for growth. Professional competition, while obviously more difficult, would provide the constant testing against elite players that Charlie needed.